June 1985, wife and mother Carole Packman mysteriously disappeared and has never been seen since. Her husband Russell is now serving a life sentence for her murder, yet no body has ever been found.
Sentencing him to life imprisonment, the judge described Causley as a ruthless, self-centred killer.
But throughout the case, he pleaded his innocence and refused to talk. Their only child, Sam, was 16 when her mother vanished, and she has come to me for help.
I'm desperate to put this to rest. I'm desperate.
I'm Mark Williams-Thomas, and as this case draws to a close, we've learned how Russell's Mistress Patricia took on the identity of his dead wife, Carole. Russell made the huge mistake of faking his own death for life insurance money, which led the police to investigate what happened to Carole.
Carole was murdered.
And the biggest development so far, after 30 years of silence, we obtained a copy of a confession letter written by Russell.
This is a full confession, isn't it?
It's a full confession.
He said he burnt the body, but the police don't believe him.
It didn't sound plausible that that's how a body could be disposed of.
And the more I dig into this case,
He's attempted to falsify Carole's signature.
I find Russell's former lover, Patricia, has some serious questions to answer. My investigation concludes into the case of what really happened to Carole Packman. In 1996, Russell Causley became one of the few murderers to be convicted in the absence of a body, when he was sentenced to life for killing his wife, Carole, more than 10 years earlier. He refused to reveal where her body is. But last year, his daughter Sam approached me, hoping I could help finally lay her mother to rest.
I need to know what happened to my mother in June 1985. I need to know where my mother is. People have said to me, forget it, just leave it. It's 30 years now. And you just think to yourself, if it was your mother, would you leave it?
Over the past 12 months, I've been investigating the disappearance of Carole Packman. It is an investigation that has taken me from seaside towns of southern England to Canada and Guernsey. I've spoken to friends.
She had a frightened look in her face.
Neighbours.
She was a very competent lady, and had she put her mind to it, she could have disappeared.
Work colleagues.
A number of us speculated that something had gone very seriously wrong with Carole.
Lovers.
So she was pretending to be Carole Packman?
Yes, she was.
The police and forensic experts.
As the months went on, I was more and more convinced that she no longer existed.
All of which has convinced me that there is far more to this case. Not least because after a 30-year silence, Russell Causley has begun to talk. And from his grandson Neil, I've got a copy of a confession letter written by Russell.
Do you know what? Reading this, it almost sends a back of your neck.
Shiver.
It does shiver, isn't it?
Something was said by Carole about Samantha or Tricia. I hit her, knocking her out. I then used a tie to cut off her airways. There was no sound from her, nothing.
The confession is something Detective Constable Paul Donnell, who was part of the police team who successfully prosecuted Russell Causley for murder, would have loved to have got his hands on during the investigation.
You obviously interviewed him. He made essentially no comment in interview.
That's correct, yeah.
He went through 2 court cases.
Yep.
Gave no evidence.
That's right.
And you today have never had any explanation from him as to what took place.
No comment.
In relation to the murder of Carole, have you?
No, no explanation at all.
I have a confessional letter from him.
Right. This is what we were looking for 20 years ago. Had he been man enough to give it up then?
Well, he says there was an argument over Tricia or Sam.
There was always arguments, and why wouldn't there be arguments with his wife when the husband's moved his girlfriend into the marital home?
A fight ensues, and as a result of that, he hits her, she falls to the ground, and he strangles her initially with a tie. He puts her on a fire, burns the fire for a period of, say, 3 days.
At the end, he sweeps up all the bits that are left. You know, bits of bone, teeth, etc.
Eventually, after a week, once the ashes have cooled down, he disperses them at various locations. And that would explain why there is no trace of her.
Of course.
There's no body's ever been recovered.
Now, these were the intimations that he gave other witnesses when he was talking about the New Forest. Down storm drains, etc. You know, if he's done something like that, then you're never going to find it, are you?
Yeah.
Reading on, Russell made another significant allegation, corroborated by what we discovered in our handwriting analysis, that his former mistress Patricia was the person pretending to be Carole in the signing over of the house.
Who impersonated Carole in front of my solicitor, wearing a cheap blonde wig with no fear of being caught out by the real Carole turning up.
Did you know about the wig?
Patricia is very ginger-haired, so she would have to have worn a wig. He bears that out, doesn't he? He's just saying what we thought is exactly right.
That whole paragraph is very telling, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is. He explains offences that he believed were committed by her, impersonating her, going into a solicitor's and pretending to be Carole Packman. There's a few questions that Tricia's got to answer, isn't there?
My investigation of killer Russell Causley has raised questions for his former mistress, Patricia. Like what, if anything, she knows about Carole's disappearance and murder. I've written her numerous letters, but she has declined to speak to me directly or give me an interview.
Hickman Rose, solicitor. So this will be in relation to my letter to Patricia. We write to thank you for your letter of the 2nd November. We fear that this project shows every sign of becoming a trial by television of our client. Our client does not know of anything she can say that would shed any light on this matter. Our client is not willing to answer your questions concerning her relationship with Mr. Causley, other than to say that he never disclosed anything to her which indicated that he had any hand in his wife's disappearance, or that he knew what had happened to her. In these circumstances, our client does not believe that she can assist any further. Well, I'm not asking about your private life. I'm not interested. What I care about is the disappearance of Carole, and that is of public interest.
Despite Patricia declining to engage with me directly, I've started to piece together a disturbing picture of her behaviour. In 1995, she was sentenced for her part in Russell's attempt to fake his death for an insurance scam. The crime which led police to start investigating Carole's disappearance.
So how did you get sucked into it?
I love him.
We've uncovered evidence Patricia assumed Carole's identity on a number of occasions, including when she was caught by the immigration authorities in Canada.
So presumably that would be a criminal offence.
Yes, it is a criminal offence, and she was then asked to leave the country within 30 days, which she did.
I've uncovered a very significant piece of evidence from a police report by Sergeant Phil Fowler, who interviewed Patricia with her solicitor in 1993 in connection with the life insurance fraud.
She told me various places that she believed that she'd worked in. All of those places I'd already made inquiries.
The report from that interview claimed Patricia had seen Carole and said that she was definitely alive in Germany and Canada, some 5 years after the courts determined she'd been murdered. Though Patricia says she does not recall the meeting with Sergeant Fowler or making the claim. A witness and former boyfriend of Patricia, who wishes to remain anonymous, and Russell, both claim Patricia forged Carole's signature on a document that gave Carole's share of the family home to her. And a handwriting expert's opinion is that the evidence confirms it.
It is Patricia who's attempted to falsify Carole's signature.
Patricia has never been charged or faced trial in relation to any of this evidence. I want to test the strength of what I've uncovered by putting it to an independent legal expert.
Prosecutor Nasir Afzal has decided to take a number of high-profile cases to court.
In his 4 years as a chief prosecutor with the Crown Prosecution Service in the Northwest, Nasir Afzal frequently made the headlines. He was a man who decided which criminal investigations progressed onto the courts and which didn't.
What I've tried to do is set you the full context of what's taken place. This is quite a complicated case. So you have the initial disappearance in June 1985 of Carole Packman. Carole's identity is used by Patricia. At least on one occasion, we have this very bizarre situation that occurs when Russell fakes his death, which leads, of course, to the police investigation to see where Carole is. We want to try and establish what happened to Carole, where she is now, and crucially, if anybody else was involved.
You mentioned something about an anonymous witness who's given some information to you. Is that person prepared to give evidence in a courtroom?
Every piece of evidence that sits within here, from every single person, is prepared to go to court.
Careful consideration needs to be given to this evidence. After decades of not talking to Sam, Russell has now written me a second letter.
Russell Causley.
What's he saying, Mark?
I'm in receipt of your latest letter dated the 14th. As it stands, I'm afraid there seems to be a little chance of me cooperating with you. But that may, of course, change when I have had the opportunity of taking the legal advice. However, I'm going to answer one question which you have not put to me. Why did you do it, this truly terrible thing? The answer is simple. I fell in love, totally, utterly, completely. I would give anything, even now, to hear Tricia's voice again. Just one more time. I committed this awful, evil act for that emotional, overpowering feeling. It was all for nothing, and the price I've paid and still paying is nowhere near enough. Someone asked me last year, has it helped to finally confess, to get it off your chest and mind? I replied, no. I said today to the police, I can see everything that I did all those years ago as closely as if they were but yesterday. Yours sincerely, Russell Causley.
Sir Russell now says he killed Carole because he was in love with Patricia. Does this new motive reinforce his original confession? The police have decided they don't believe Russell's claims about the burning of his wife's body to ash on a domestic fire, but my investigation has shown that it is possible. By using a pig carcass, which most resembles the makeup of a human body, we replicated the method that Russell claims to have used to dispose of Carole.
None of these pieces of what we are assuming is bone are any bigger than the pieces of carbonised wood.
Yeah. If Russell could have disposed of Carole's body in this way, would there be any evidence left decades later? Finding Carole's body is vitally important to Sam. She has been without answers for 30 years, but she's never given up searching for the truth. I've learnt the police have recently visited Russell in prison to hold a meeting. Now Sam's son Neil has had an update from them.
Neil.
Hi Mark, sorry, I literally just got the phone. He said that he stands by what he said in the letter. The letter's completely truthful. Merrick Park Golf Course is one of the locations he's given where he scattered the ashes.
And what are they going to do now?
Nothing, that's it.
They're not doing anything?
No.
Right.
Case closed. They told him that and said, look, you know, it's all hearsay. At the end of the day, you're a proven liar.
The police's expert believes Russell's account of the fire is implausible, and that even if he burnt the body, there'd be nothing left after 30 years.
He says he collected together the ashes and he went to various locations, and he specifically named Merrick Park Golf Course. But where? This really is a vast area. This is 30 years ago, so the chances now of finding something in areas like this, unless you specifically know the pinpointed area, I'd say it's impossible. Whilst it's a crucial piece of information, I don't know how I can take it any further forward.
Russell has changed his account of how he disposed of Carole's body many times. But I have to try and verify whether or not he burnt his wife's body. There is only one other place I can look, the family home where I believe she was murdered.
What was really going on? What was happening within this household at that time? Was Carole getting to a point where she's saying, do you know what? This has got to change. I've got to finish. I've got to get out of this. Can't carry on living like this anymore.
She wanted to take the appropriate steps to end their marriage.
She went to see a solicitor. She came home. She told Russell it's all over, creating that flashpoint that caused Russell to kill his wife. And I have no doubt, absolutely no doubt, that she died here. She was murdered in this house. The last time she walked through that door, on the 14th of June, is the last time she was alive. So when Russell was initially prosecuted for the murder, they came and did a really thorough search of the house. That meant taking up the floorboards, which they did in the sitting room, the living room. And they were looking for Carole or evidence that Carole had been murdered in this home address. They were unsuccessful. It didn't prove anything. It didn't give anything up at all.
The police didn't find any evidence in the house. But now Russell has admitted that he burnt Carole's body in the garden, where the police never searched.
So this is the area that Russell has identified. He says he had a fire here over a period of 3 days, and that's how he burnt Carole's body. He then picked all the ashes up and dispersed them at various different locations around the country. I think if we got the right person with the expertise, they will be able to tell me if there's value in digging this. And if there is value in digging this, however small, we'll do it.
If we're going to find Carole's remains, we have to explore every avenue. What happened to Carole's body is so important to Sam and the family. This is something grandson Neil has made very clear to me.
So, Neil, what do you think your mum wants? What ultimately does she want?
I think she would like... She would, I think we all would. I think, you know, I think we'd all like to put her to rest. No matter how, like... It sounds really horrible. No matter how big or small that is, in terms of what you bury, I think she would like somewhere she can go to. And she can remember her mum. You can't do that. That's so destroying.
I can tell you from the research and what I've shown you is that it is possible to burn a body to point of ash. Now what I want to do is go to the home address and carry out an excavation, a dig, to see if that ash has human remains in it.
I've been asking ever since we've become aware of this information. We've got to go back to the family home. We have to give what he is saying to us some credit.
Sam recalls a particular fire her father had in the garden that ties in with his confession letter.
So why do you remember that fire in 1985, in June 1985?
When I came home, my father was stood up on the bank with the fire. My father was really, really angry with me, and he ripped my dress and he sent me into the home.
We've spoken to a number of experts who are authorities. They've done a lot of digs.
Okay.
The chances of finding remains there are slim. They really are slim. There'll be tiny fragments as a result of the fire. But the thing I always say in every investigation is that unless you do it, you definitely won't find it.
Yep.
But you've got to do it to either rule it in or rule it out.
Yep.
And that's what we're doing.
Yeah, that's good, thank you.
We have to bear in mind this is 30 years on.
Yeah, that's good. Thank you, Mark.
We're going to go back to where Russell claims is the scene of the crime and do what the police never did. Search the garden for Carole's remains. In a letter from jail, Russell Causley has identified a broad area in the garden where he claims to have burnt his wife's body. I've asked a specialist in cremated remains to investigate Russell's claim.
Talk me through what you're going to do.
My colleague Dave is going to go over this area with what's called a magnetic susceptibility machine. Right. Now, what that can do is pick out where burning has occurred.
If the fire is of reasonable intensity and the ground hasn't been completely messed around with, then we should be able to identify where a hotspot is.
So a hotspot potentially identifies that a fire's taken place?
Yeah, exactly.
16. In his confessional letter, Russell sets out what he did with Carole. The solution came to me as I sat looking out the window.
I had piles of pine logs and very often had fires. I would burn the body. There was, after 3 days of keeping the fire going, no obvious residue. Nothing.
Nothing.
The 3-day thing's quite interesting. That suggests that he's maybe had to go back and revisit. As far as what might be left at the end of it, even if you get tiny bones that big, particularly bits of skull bone, you can still recognise that you've got human bone.
We seem to have a patch of higher readings. This area, here seems to be approximately twice to 3 times the readings everywhere else. That probably is due to fire, but I think Jackie's results are the key to telling you that.
So Jackie, how are you getting on?
We're nearly halfway through. All this material will go back to our offices. Basically, it will be put in different size sieves, and then water is washed over it. That gets rid of all the soil, just leaving behind the bits we potentially want to see.
Russell has been in touch, and once again he's trying to control events from prison.
So I've taken a call from Russell's solicitor that he's appointed, and I'm absolutely gutted because he now has told me that Russell's not going to engage with me anymore. He doesn't want to talk anymore. He feels that I'm interrupting his lifestyle in prison. He thinks that actually my recent letters are harassing him, and he said enough. It's still all about Russell, and he doesn't give a toss about anybody else. But I'll keep fighting, and I'll find a way around it with someone else. It's not going to be him, but let him languish in jail.
The soil from the dig has been analysed, and the results are ready.
There's an awful lot of domestic debris here. A small amount of it has melted, but the vast majority of this material is unburnt.
But there was a fire there.
There was a fire there, we know that because we have very large quantities of charcoal.
So Jackie, you found bone?
We have found some bone, yes, but unfortunately, for your purposes, it's all animal bone.
And you're certain it's animal bone, not human bone?
Yes, I'm quite sure it's animal bone.
We've been unable to find human remains in the garden, but we have proved it is possible to burn a body to ash on a domestic fire. The result doesn't mean Russell didn't burn Carole's body. Maybe he was successful in removing all the remains, or it could just be another one of his mind games.
You will not guess who I've just spoken to.
Who?
David Wells, who is Russell's solicitor, and he's got a letter from Russell. He's apparently emailed me it.
I thought he wasn't writing to you anymore.
No, I know. He shut it all down, didn't he? The whole account of how I disposed of the body, the fire up to the bank, was false. How did I dispose of the body?
The experts, in all probability, were quite correct to doubt that I could have destroyed the body of my poor wife by means of fire. I chose to state that I'd achieved this feat, simply due to not wanting the body exhumed from its resting place, which is both beautiful and very peaceful.
So let it be. It's a game, isn't it?
And as I read on, I find that astonishingly, Russell has included an updated confession with this new letter. Russell is a convicted fraudster, a liar, and an unreliable witness who has changed his story on numerous occasions. Which is why we need to treat whatever he says with caution. But in the original confession letter, written after Patricia ended their relationship, and now, in this new updated one, Russell went further than ever and makes the very serious allegation that Patricia was involved in the murder, including claims he discussed the taking of Carole's life with her and that she helped him carry Carole's body to the garage. There is no evidence to corroborate his claims. So was it just the outpouring of a vengeful, deceitful, scorned lover? Following my first two letters to Patricia, in which I ask her a number of specific questions about Carole's disappearance, I get a call from Neil.
The police shall be re-interviewing Patricia under caution. I understand from the call that it's under mutual agreement that it's been requested by her solicitor to occur as soon as possible.
So the solicitors asked the police for Patricia to be re-interviewed?
Yeah.
Why would they do that? What would be to gain? Unless she feels that she's never put anything on record and she wants to now do it, I don't know. Yeah. Right, well, it's quite a development, isn't it? But brilliant. Thanks, Neil. Speak soon. Take care.
Cheers, Mark. Speak soon.
Detective Inspector Mark Samuel, who is in charge of the case, has also received a copy of Russell's confessional letter.
Mark, not long ago you received some new information. In Russell's confessional letter, he makes very serious allegations in relation to his mistress, Patricia.
What have you been able to do with that information?
What I can say is we have interviewed Patricia under caution in the presence of her solicitor. We've interviewed her twice, and having reviewed the evidence, the decision is that we can't take any further criminal legal action against her. We did consult with the Crown Prosecution Service regarding the recent information, and the difficulties are primarily that he's a proven fraudster and hasn't confirmed that he'll assist us. But ultimately, it is a police decision that we've made not to prosecute.
Is she giving you a detailed insight into what took place, or is she not?
She's denying any involvement, and she's totally denying the allegations that Russell's made.
Do you think there is somebody else involved? Do you think somebody else assisted him?
It's not for me to give opinion, it really isn't. I've got to deal with the facts and the criminal law.
So Patricia hasn't been able to assist you in any way to fill in any of those gaps?
No.
I've put these very serious allegations to Patricia, and she has responded to us through her solicitor, who says she vigorously disputes she had anything to do with the murder of Carole. She also states that at no time prior to 2014 did she know or believe Mr. Causley had murdered his wife. Had she done so, she would not have continued their relationship or offered him support in prison. She says he is hitting back for not wanting to resume their relationship, and he's changed his account several times. These accusations from Russell may indicate his vindictiveness, and the police have decided to take no further action in relation to the allegations he makes in the letter regarding the murder. But Patricia's impersonating of Carole remains a serious concern. I've consulted a former Crown prosecutor to review a case file summarising the evidence I've collected.
I'm no longer a representative of the Crown Prosecution Service, it needs to be said, and obviously I would preface anything I say by saying I've not seen all the material. I would always expect the police to provide me with what we call the unused material, which is that bit of the case that they don't think supports their case but might undermine their case in some way. But we have here, of course, a person who's convicted of fraud, the most remarkable fraud in relation to Russell's death in the mid-90s. You have a number of occasions in which she has pretended, impersonated poor Carole. When somebody is routinely impersonating an individual, you would only do that if you were sure that the real person is not going to walk in the door and say it's me. It is done that blatantly that it would support an argument, a prosecution argument, that she knew that Carole was no longer alive. That's what jumps out at me from the pages that you've presented to me. I think going into a solicitor's firm, purporting to be Carole, signing away Carole's share in the property, doing so as impersonating Carole, with all the other evidence showing that she has been impersonating Carole, is sufficient evidence to bring a charge of fraud.
Are there any other appropriate charges? You've got assisting an offender because you have prevented a police investigation over a lengthy period of time by purporting to be a murdered person. Maximum sentence 10 years. You've got perverting the course of justice, which carries life imprisonment as a maximum, because you again have prevented a police investigation taking place through your alleged behaviours. You need to deal with all the material that the police have that might not necessarily support the case. That has to be looked at. But on the basis of what you've presented and the work that you've done, there is, in my view, sufficient evidence to prosecute Patricia.
I accept that some people do impersonate others not knowing if the person is alive. But a former CPS chief prosecutor's detailed response to my evidence levels accusations of fraud, assisting an offender, and perverting the course of justice at her door. At the beginning of this investigation, I set out to uncover what really happened to Carole Packman. We know that Russell murdered Carole, but regardless of the mind games he plays in his letters, there is one name that has come up throughout my investigation.
Patricia Causley.
Patricia Causley.
Patricia.
Patricia.
Patricia Causley.
Patricia Causley.
Patricia Causley.
I've tried to get an interview with her on many occasions and written numerous letters. She's constantly declined to speak to me directly, but through a solicitor she's now issued this statement.
I fell completely in love with Russell in 1984, when his marriage was on the rocks and both he and Carole were seeing other people. With their full agreement, I sold my own flat, gave them the proceeds, and moved in with them to look after Samantha while they both worked in Yorkshire. It may have made some people feel uncomfortable, but it was right for all of us and meant Carole had time to work things through. She had told me she wanted to go, which is why I was not very surprised that she went off leaving her wedding ring and a note. I was later told she had been to the local police station to say she did not want to be found. Russell was never violent to Carole or me, and it did not cross my mind she was dead. I do not know who went to the police station, but it was certainly not me. However, I was foolish enough, firstly, to use her work permit number, not her identity, in Canada as a matter of convenience, and then to get mixed up in a plan Russell hatched to commit the insurance fraud, which also involved transferring the house share to my name. I have deeply regretted that dishonesty on my part ever since. I believe Russell is highly manipulative and unreliable, and I wish I had not come under his influence. The absence of any further explanation from me is because I have never had any information that could assist in locating Carole Packman and relieving Samantha's understandable distress. My sympathy remains with her over the loss of her mother. I supported Russell Causley through his prison sentence because I was sorry for him and still found it impossible to believe that he had killed Carole. When I finally told him I did not want to resume our relationship on his release from prison, he was devastated and very angry. He hit back by claiming I was involved in getting rid of Carole's body. He has changed that account several times and now withdrawn it, admitting it was made out of anger at my decision. I strongly deny that I had anything to do with the murder of Carole Packman, or that I knew of it at any time before Russell admitted it in 2014. Had I known of it, I would have left him immediately and would not have supported him further in any way.
Everything I've done throughout this investigation, I've done in order to help Sam seek answers about her mum. I need to see Sam for one last time.
Sam, when you approached me 10 months ago, you asked for my help to build up a picture of what happened to your mum back in 1985.
Yeah.
Sadly, I can't tell you where your mum is. An area that was identified by your dad. We looked at that with archaeologists and we got them to dig that area, and they are saying they cannot find human bones there.
I was so hopeful. It sounds terrible to hope, but I was so hopeful that you'd actually say to me that they had found something.
The one piece that he still holds on to is how he disposed of her. And if he gives that up, not only does he lose total control, he gives you what you want. We started to identify that your mum's identity was being used, and one strand that has started to become bigger and bigger as part of this is what knowledge did Patricia have about everything that was going on. A former Chief Crown Prosecutor believes
There is sufficient evidence to charge Patricia with fraud, with assisting an offender, and with perverting the course of justice, which in itself carries a maximum sentence of life imprisonment.
She has a lot to answer.
We presented all this evidence, sent it to Patricia and her lawyer, and Patricia's now responded to us, and she says that she had nothing to do with your mum's murder, but she does make two partial admissions that she used your mum's work permit in Canada, and she does partially admit to having signed over the deeds to the home address.
It's Patricia's actions that make it look as if my mother was still alive. That is Patricia standing independently on her own and acting as my mother. That shouldn't take this time. It shouldn't be this difficult.
This has been one of the most challenging cases of my career. A case of lies.
Yeah, me and Carole have separated and she's gone to live abroad. Germany with a job shop. She's in France.
A mistress. Fraud. And murder. But it's not over yet. Just before I received Patricia's statement, her lawyer told me to expect a significant letter from Russell.
I've been playing both a very stupid and dangerous game with you.
I wish to retract in its totality my confession to the charge of murder. This confession was a total fabrication in its entirety and was made while I was completely out of my head due to having lost the love of my life. I'd sat up one night and concocted a complete mishmash of lies and half-truths. This confession and all other letters sent out were the direct result of my having lost the love and contact of Tricia Causley. All of it was driven by my wish to hit back at what I considered a cowardly betrayal. I did not murder my wife, nor harm her in any way back in 1985. I have never killed anyone, let alone a girl who loved me totally and stood by me loyally. Tricia Causley did not therefore assist me in this act. Patricia Causley never went into Bournemouth Police Station. All I did all those years ago is what so very many men have done and are still doing. I went off with another younger girl, but that is all.
For him to deny the murder in its entirety, this goes to the heart of Russell. Let's be very clear, Russell, you are a killer.
Regardless of what he says, there is compelling evidence that Patricia used Carole's identity in Canada, less than a year after the police and courts have now found that she'd been murdered. An ex-boyfriend of Patricia's alleges she assumed Carole's identity in Germany and Italy and used a blonde wig. There is expert forensic evidence that Patricia forged Carole's signature to claim her half of the home. In a police file, it states that Patricia told police in front of her own solicitor that Carole was definitely alive in 1990 because she and Russell had seen her in Canada and Germany. Yet the police and courts established that Carole was murdered in 1985, and a former Crown prosecutor says evidence exists to charge Patricia with very serious offences: fraud, assisting an offender, and perverting the course of justice.
The mind games that Russell's played, not just with me, but with his own daughter, is disgusting.
It's clear now that Russell will do everything in his power to make sure Sam doesn't find the truth she so desperately seeks.
It's not for me. It's for my mother. Anybody in this same position, it's not me, it's her. Because it's her that's lost. She's not stood here now.